Well then, back for more action. Alright, how's everyone? I thought I'd put this soundtrack because, seeing that I'm in Call of Juarez, and, you know, gunslingers and all that, might as well just mix it up and add this to it. Now, whoever has no clue what this is, soundtrack-wise, it is old title, old title that was called, what was it, Sunset Rider? Used to play the shit out of that game. No joke, when it came to beat 'em ups, or shoot 'em ups, in that case, because it was a side-scroller shooter, Contra style, old school Konami had my back, along with Capcom and all that. But seriously, man, I've landed on the soundtrack recently, and I just can't stop listening to it. It's just nostalgic, and at the same time, there's a few things I kind of recognize. It's a weird topic, so run with me for a bit. But it feels like music back in the SNES era kind of had more personality. SNES era and 64 era, there are certain types of composers that can, just bring out personality to their soundtrack. And when it came to Konami, Sunset Rider, or TMNT, you could just smell there's always this tune or this beat that'll make you say, ah, that's Konami, ah, that's Capcom, you know? And now there seems to be less of it, or when it came to certain companies. I mean, when it comes to Konami, I don't really hear much of their soundtracks. I mean, if I look at the new TMNT game, I'm not really gonna get, this is Konami, or well, I'm not even sure it's. Okay, the latest TMNT is Activision, so I just kind of dropped the ball on that. But you know what I mean? It feels a bit more orchestral now than specific attitude type of song. I mean, when it comes to attitude, I will remember Daisuke Ishitowari. When it comes to Guilty Gear Blast Blue, I'll remember Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and even Bayonetta for its battle track. But the rest might not have the same identity, if you know what I mean, or it might not just spring out identity. God of War, it's orchestral. I could mix it in with whatever orchestral tracks there is. The only thing that'll make me realize it's God of War is the good old ta-da-da, because it's the theme song. But aside from that, I don't feel that much personality when it comes to God of War or current title Call of Duty. Whatever, soundtrack-wise, not really that memorable. And Battlefield fucked up their theme song. Now it's all fart. Not joking. I used to remember the Battlefield soundtrack as something like this epic orchestral of battle. It was classy. And now it's like, it's this weird attempt at making dubstep bullshit. It blends in. Not saying that I really hate dubstep. Some people do have it down the line, But, okay, listening to this tune, it starts out, and you're like, huh, what could this be? I don't really remember the soundtrack. And then, this kicks in. That fucking beat, that toon, 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 toon. That's like Konami, right there. You hear that? It's fucking Konami. You hear that shit in TMNT Turtles in Time. You may even hear that shit in Contra, because Contra was Konami. But I'd have to recheck the Super Contra soundtrack. But it had an identity. You would listen to Mega Man X2 soundtrack or Mega Man X soundtrack, and you would hear that Capcom beat, if you know what I mean. And the same deal when you would play Slam Master. But now, when it comes to Capcom soundtrack, it feels a bit subpar compared to what it used to be. because the composer doesn't really know how to make fighting game song. He knows how to make remixes and dance remixes, but when it comes for fighting, like you feel the beat, the fight. No, like I hear Guile's team, the latest version, and it just feels like you were trying to make this dance remix, but you weren't considering a fight team, you know? Um, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 kind of ruined what they had going. I really feel like it just doesn't sound good, or some of the soundtracks do not sound right. Um, Iron Man. Wait, what was it? Yeah, it felt a bit slower. Spider-Man felt like garbage. It felt, alright, everyone, let's dance with Spider-Man. No! Fuck you! Spider-Man's track was about, yo, I am Spider-Man, I'm on the scene. In here to report and beat the shit out of you. And then tell you to do your job. You know, it was something else. But the current composer is fucking up. Garbage. Chun-Li's soundtrack feels a bit more like it feels okay. It feels slower. Since Chun-Li is a fast character, she shouldn't really have this slow track, you know? Guile's team got slowed down a lot. I think that could be the current Capcom composer's problem could be speed. See Viper's team song I really like, but maybe it's because it's a first try out of multiple. And then that fucker slowed it down for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. God, I hate that guy. I really don't like him. Like Cody's soundtrack? Wow, what is this horse garbage? It's like, yo, let's try to be gangster, bitches. I'm fucking Cody. I'm from the hood. I've beaten up people. Wow. Kind of went on a tangent, and that could be relating to a upcoming game design run back. But yeah, like there's a lack of attitude with many of our modern day soundtrack. I mean, there's of course exceptions. Of course, you know, let me see if I look through my library. Driver, not really remembering. Dead Rising. Boss battles, I'll give it that. Lots of attitude, but it still cringes down on rock. And rock that can usually blend. If it wasn't for the lyrics, I wouldn't really understand or notice that it's Dead Rising 2. I haven't really checked out Dead Rising 3, not getting an X-Bone. Batman Arkham, there was a soundtrack? Then again, I haven't played that much. Injustice, lack of opportunity when it comes for the soundtrack. I don't know what could have happened or what they could have done to give personality to certain backgrounds and stages. It's mostly focusing on the core cast and story mode, but the soundtrack itself, it feels generic. There's only one song I really remember, and I think that's one of the trailer songs. Let's see, Rayman. Oh, beautiful! That's UbiArt. UbiArt, thumbs up. When it comes to the rest of Ubisoft, maybe. What else? Resonance of Fate. Yeah, Motoi Sukubara, man, this guy. He has a track of his own. You know, you can feel Square through him, which is really good. I like that. So, okay, Hitman Absolution. Huh? I still start wondering. Yakuza Attitude. Fuck ton of attitude. Remixes of the previous game. Unique boss tracks. And it's not always cringing on the same note. Give this composer a high five, a thumbs up, an udon bowl, and a prize. Give the guy a prize. Really like what he does. Borderland? It's been a while. I don't remember Borderland 2. I really don't. I like the game. I might do another run through, but I don't remember its soundtrack. Not enough impact. There's nothing that really caught me in that soundtrack. Not saying it's bad, but nothing really sticks in my head. Unlike King of Fighters, where I am going to remember the shit out of that soundtrack. King of Fighters 13 and most of the previous ones. Maybe except Maximum Impact, because that was quite an experiment. But King of Fighters, man, its soundtrack tailored to its character, tailored to attitude, recognizable, and I kind of wish I knew more about the composer, because it's some really deep stuff. Oh yeah, and fuck KOF 12. That soundtrack just not KOF worthy. Well, the whole game was, you know, pushed, really pushed, but that's KOF 12. Blast Blue already spoke about it. Thumbs up. 3D Dot Game Hero. I still have some of its soundtrack in my head, like especially the boss music, the mountain music, like just attitude, featuring just to represent the environment. Call of Juarez, which I am currently playing. There was a soundtrack? I'm really trying. But it just, it doesn't stick. It just doesn't stick. It just felt like I was going through the motions, and I was mostly just into the gunplay, and nothing really grasped, or like the soundtrack didn't really push me into the scenery. That is one thing that's kind of interesting. Now that I look back on it, like I didn't really feel drawn to the scenery in a sense. It's weird. When I go through these games, I kinda, and especially when it comes to first-person shooter, I rarely get caught up in the scenery. Except in Far Cry. I fucking love Far Cry. And Blood Dragon as well. But if you look, Call of Duty, Borderlands, I really did like the scenery. But the soundtrack just didn't get me into it. It's weird. Possible things to think about, right? God of War Ascension already spoke about that. What else? What else? Dead Island, Riptide, or Dead Island in general? Nah, I'm not seeing it. Soundtrack wise, Anarchy Reigns. BAM! This is how you get this shit done! Soundtrack with attitude, representing the character, recognizable. That's like, as soon as you hear some of those tracks, you're like, oh, Mad World. I can feel the Mad World from this. What else? What else? I'm looking through my library, and that seems to be about it. I'd have to go from memory. Twisted Metal, not the latest one. Not the latest one. I don't know why. Oh, wait! Half and half. Half and half. Mostly because the latest one used popular songs, or, you know, songs like Straight Out of Compton and other well-known songs, which is good, but at the same time, it doesn't give me that same level of uniqueness certain tracks or certain games bring when they use or make their own tracks, you know what I mean? I always like battling people under that one specific song, Straight Out of Compton, but aside from that, I don't, you know, I don't really remember any other song, maybe except the final boss song or some of the beginning boss songs, but aside from that, I just, no, nothing really stuck to me, which is too bad, you know. I really like that game, lots of attitude, really dark, and I don't know, maybe it's a part, but again, personal preferences, you know, gotta make sure I say that. So of course it'll look like I am completely worshipping Japanese developers, which, well, I do prefer their take on soundtracks with attitude. I really do. That's a thing I really love, especially with Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Fucking smart use of your soundtrack. Um, so I don't know. I'm trying really hard to think about Western developers that made a great use of soundtrack, aside from Rayman. Rayman, platformer, action adventure, great use of soundtrack, especially with the level. Jeez, this is difficult. I don't know. Wow, I'd have to search deep. Saints Row. Saints Row. You know what? Saints Row the Third and Saints Row 4, even if they are well-known tracks, I really like the use that they make, and also those little inside jokes that they make using those tracks. Best example is when you're saving Angel in the ring, and technically you hear the song of the Karate Kid. So in your head, you're technically, because Angel was voiced by Hulk Hogan, you are saving Hulk Hogan with a chainsaw under the Karate Kid song. Like, your head, bam, explodes. Like, just good planning when it comes to that. What else? Saints Row the Fourth, I won't spoil it, but they have some great uses. But wow, this is quite a challenge, man. Maybe that could be a top 10 or whatever, but that's quite a challenge just to figure it out or to come with examples. Because even then, I was about to say Metroid Japanese developer, Nintendo Japanese developer. Damn, Vanillaware Japanese developer. Huh. Wow. Maybe Prince of Persia, the first Prince of Persia, like the reboot, of course. I liked it. Really liked it. Karateka? No, that's something else. Jeez. This is becoming quite a challenge. Damn. Okay. Wow. Maybe I should just change the topic right now. Okay, next topic. Let's jump into something else. This is gonna. Yeah, that's it. I'm traumatized for a night now. Ah, shit. Okay, so as you guys may see, I'm about to be. Well, I'm running through. It's just stuck in my head now. I'm really sorry, guys. I might just call it quits here. Yeah, fuck it. I'm calling it quits here. Rage quit. But what could be coming up next, or small announcements? Made those parody videos, you know, the Killer Instinct redesigns, and I'm still going through with what's happening, what's next with those redesigns. Those little troll redesigns, I didn't get as much flack as with the Street Fighter one, so I'll post the link in the description. Just make sure to remember, this is just having fun with the way the industry just loves to shove old design aside. Western industry, or there, you know, there's industries that just love to do it, so acknowledge it as a parody. Alright, unlike some of the hardcore Capcom fans that really didn't like how Captain Sawada was gonna be the next Street Fighter character, that I can't fucking believe they thought it was real. But hey, all in fun and games, right? Anyhow, so I'll post those parodies. I'm still working on my little KI animation. That's still going on, and that's still a lot of fun. I'm taking each and every shortcut I can to bring you this content as soon as I can, because Eventually, I can't just be perfectionist, yada yada yada. I already had that talk, or I think I had a blog on it. You can just go check it out on the other channel. But yes, that's still in the works, but main priority so far is those speed reconstruction, those speed parodies. Maybe I can just pop it up or pop one up. You know, you guys want to see KI Maya? That's fucking Maya, man. Redesigned Michelle Rodriguez Maya. So if you guys want to see that little parody video, I will put the link in the description. It's on the other channel, so if you're subscribed to it, you'll see it. And I'm also just pop in Kim Woo. There you go, Kim Woo redesign. There's no stopping this. You know, you've got to redesign all of it. So if you want to see that parody, on the other channel, Extra Stage Comic, and I'll put the link in the description. There's gonna be more coming up because as I started posting these, some people at work are like, hey, do this character next, do this one next, and I'm like, I already got it covered. I just need to paint them. So this is gonna continue. I'm gonna stop the Sunset Rider because right now I am just remembering a lot of things, and that was the final boss music. Very confusing as a final boss music, but that final boss was a pain in the ass. Alright, I am done. Kind of done with this drawing as well. Maybe I want to add some more, but you know, I'll do it off screen. I don't want to keep you guys here too long, and I don't have much else to say. One segment I'm quite interested to continue: game design runback, the redesigns, and I also want to do something about video game soundtracks. Both. There's video game soundtracks and there's something about beat 'em up games I want to do. So, year 2014, let's start pushing shit. Because, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about these things, you know? Fan of beat 'em up, fan of video game soundtrack. Let's just talk about these things. And sometimes I really do like to hear outside opinions and especially recommendation for soundtrack. Hell, one of my friend, wow, what's his nickname? Umi? I hope he doesn't mind. I'll just call him Umi. So he told me, because I was talking about, hey, whatever happened to the soundtrack for Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22? And he kind of told me, yo, you know what, I'll just stop it here, change to something else. There you go. Get some other soundtrack in there. Huge fan, King of Fighters, booyah. But yeah, he told me, well, technically they couldn't use those soundtracks anymore in any Dragon Ball American game due to certain copyright issues. And I told him, or I asked him, so were those soundtracks from the actual anime? And he's like, yeah, fuck yeah. That's that Trunks soundtrack that you can hear. Let me see if I can put it up. That Trunks soundtrack that you would hear on the Super Nintendo version or on Ultimate Battle 22, that was from the Japanese show. That one. You guys remember that, right? I'm not crazy, right? Chicks! See? That soundtrack was from the Japanese anime. And I never knew that. Like, there's many of those tracks that I really preferred over each and every of the tracks that were in Dragon Ball Z Budokai or even Battle of the Z, because they just felt like just rock. You know, they didn't have attitude. You look at Hercules track or Mr. Satan, like, there's personality. And apparently they couldn't use those tracks anymore because of certain copyright issues. Something happened with the artist and apparently he was completely blacklisted. I want to recheck that, but technically he told me there's one last game that takes, or that has remixes of those tracks, and it was a... Wow, I am going to fuck this up, huh? Dragon Ball Z Shin Butoden. Because the Butoden series was on Super Nintendo. And then we had Legend on PlayStation, Ultimate Battle 22. But in America, we've never had Shin Butoden. unless you import it, a very rare gem. Um, and yeah, that was the last time they used those soundtrack. But yeah, just hearing information about this, getting outside feedback, and just wow, these are awesome tracks. Why didn't I listen to this earlier? You know, getting that feeling, fucking badass. I like that. That's why I kind of want to share talks with that. You know, especially talking about Daisuke Shitawari soundtracks. This guy, he just fucking rocks, man. Guilty Gear. Just round one, rock. So yeah, we'll see if I can just do something about that. Try to add some more interactivity when it comes to that. Alright, 2014 year of attempting to do a lot of things. Hopefully it all works out. If not, at least it's a try, right? So, fuck it. Dive in head on. Dive kick. Or dive headbutt. Again, thanks for the comments, the suggestions, and the private messages. I want to see some more comments, man. More comments. Drop some comments. No hate, just comments. Okay, if you want to add some hate, sure, why not? But yeah, more comments. Because, you know, gotta do some sketch based on your nickname. Even though eventually there's gonna have to be double backs, right? We'll see what happens. If there's double backs, then there's got to be an option select into something else. But again, thank you, Game Soundtracks. Respect these authors, and I am gone. Later, people.